Hello, and welcome to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flack, your host. I'm a celebrity makeup artist and CEO with a passion for all things beauty, wellness, and success. On this show, I'll take you on exciting journeys, sharing personal stories and insights from inspiring entrepreneurs. Together, we will explore manifestation, health, wellness, and the secrets to thriving in life and business. Let's jump in and get inspired. Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Flack, and I'm Too Busy. Today's guest helps leaders understand something incredibly important. How we show up matters. Steph Saffer is an executive coach, leadership facilitator, and certified coach with the Matone Global Institute. I am so excited to interview you today. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Oh my gosh. You're doing so many things. You also are the co-founder of Optimize You. You also founded Impact Ready Framework.
There's I have my hands in a lot of different pots right now.
You're a busy, busy woman.
There's a lot of overlap though, and it's all about serving people in the ways that they need right now. Life is so full for people and they need help. They need support.
Many high-performing leaders are incredibly driven, but sometimes they struggle with emotional intelligence or self-awareness. How do you help leaders refine how they show up in the room?
Well, for a lot of leaders, they have achieved so much, and their lifestyle is that they build everything around the achievements. They are used to working very hard. They push themselves to the limits. They fill their plates with a lot of different responsibilities. And so my job is to help people understand where the energy leaks are. Where are they leaking that life force and the essence of who they are? And part of that is awareness. Part of that is ownership. I call it radical ownership. And then, of course, we need to streamline how they implement these things. So it's a bit of a process, but it all begins with awareness.
Leadership today looks very different than it did 20 years ago. What do you believe are the most important leadership traits in today's world?
I think being self-aware as a leader is essential because we work in a world of relationships. And with up and coming technology and AI, people are so worried about their jobs. And more, it's so clear that leadership is going to be about people and people management and building something with, the power of our relationships, our brain, our creativity, and having the energy to do that.
You work with entrepreneurs and executives who operate under constant pressure. What are some common mindset patterns that hold leaders back from their full potential?
Oh boy. The first one that comes to mind is the perfectionist. There are many leaders who really have that all or nothing mindset, and it gets in the way for them. They feel like if I'm not executing in the exact way that I think it should be done, then it's not going to work. And so we really have to help people get out of that frame of thinking. The second thing that comes to mind is imposter syndrome. And you might think that leaders at that high of a level who are true high performers don't struggle with imposter syndrome. Not true. Everybody struggles with that feeling of, am I going to be good enough in this situation? And so helping people step into their power more, that's a big, big part of the process.
Oh, I bet. Your work forces an aligning mindset, behavior, and vitality. Why is physical health and energy so important for leadership performance?
If you don't have energy, it's really hard to do anything. It's
True.
people learn this in life when something big happens, but without our health, we really don't have the ability to live the life we want and to create the life we want. And what I would like for people to embrace is that they can start to work on optimizing energy without waiting for a crisis to happen. We don't want to have those really abrupt, catastrophized reminders that health is everything. We want people to embrace that before something tragic happens. So
I completely agree. It's remarkable to me that people don't prioritize, their self-care.
it is the gateway to everything.
It is, and it's not selfish whatsoever. It's
No.
like the greatest gift you could give to anyone is making sure that you take good care of yourself, your team, your family, your friends, everyone you work with. You co founded Optimize You and the Next Level Nutrition Program, which focuses on health optimization. How much does nutrition and energy actually impact mental clarity and leadership performance?
Well, we created this company and this specifically this program because the people who were coming to us for help in the clinic, they were saying, "Oh, well, I have all these responsibilities. I have to manage this team, and I just don't have the bandwidth to do it." And so to be able to get them more bandwidth, it all comes back to that energy piece. And metabolism is the key to energy. Metabolism is our body's energy system. And
Mhm.
so if we aren't fueling ourselves well, we're putting, low quality oil into the car, low quality gasoline into the automobile. We have to have the right fuel to fuel our energy system.
Many people think success is purely strategy or intelligence. From your experience coaching leaders, how much of success actually comes down to mindset and emotional mastery?
Self regulation, very similar to self awareness, is one of the most crucial skills that anybody can master in a place of leadership. And you could have all the strategy you want, but if you're not good with humans, you're going to have a really hard time getting the buy-in that you need to be able to execute on that strategy. So
Mhm.
again, this comes down to your ability to form good relationships and great rapport with people out in the world so that you can build the team to execute the strategy.
What are some daily habits you recommend for leaders who want to operate at a higher level of impact and presence?
Ooh, great question. Number one, sleep. Prioritizing sleep
Huge.
is absolutely it's the game changer for the leaders, the high performers that I get to work with. Rest and recovery, not just sleeping and not just sitting on the couch watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone, but intentional rest and creating white space for yourself, meaning you have space in your schedule for your brain to wander, to be creative, to think. Take away the phones, take away the screens, and give yourself space to literally breathe and recover.
Confidence and self awareness often go hand in hand. How can someone start developing stronger confidence and self leadership?
Confidence is a tricky thing because people think, oh, I have to build my confidence to be able to go out and do things in the world. And it's actually the reverse of that. Once
Mhm.
you start going out into the world and doing things and keeping promises to yourself, following through on the things that you say you're going to do,
Mhm.
every promise you keep to yourself, every thing that you execute on is a little bit of confidence in the bank. And pretty soon you've banked so much confidence in yourself that you can walk out there and say, I truly am a confident person. It really comes down to following through and being in integrity with oneself. That's where confidence comes from.
Mhm. For someone listening who wants to elevate their leadership and influence, what is the first step they should take today?
To elevate leadership and influence, I would do an audit of where you spend your time and look at everything that you do and decide, are these things in alignment with what I truly want to be doing? Is it going to create the life that I want? It has to start with looking at where you spend your time. One of my mentors always said, let me look at your calendar and I'll be able to see where you're going in your life. People spend their time in ways that have are in no way aligned with what they want. You want to be a great leader, you want to create great outcomes in your life, you have to invest time and energy and space into those things. You show me your calendar, I'll be able to tell you right away if you're going to be able to get there or not.
That's interesting. On this show, we love to talk about the human side of success. Steph, what practices help you stay grounded and focused and energized while running multiple businesses and coaching high performance clients?
I have to protect my energy at all costs. And what that equates to is prioritizing the sleep, as I said. I move every morning. Strength training is my preferred method of movement. It
Uh,
just helps me get my head right. It changes my state. It gets me ready to take on the day. And as I was saying, making sure I knew where my time was going and really allocating it to the things that are important to me, including my family, including rest and recovery, but making time for those top three things that you want to bring to life, that is going to take you so far. And it's little by little, every day you build. And if you just don't quit and you stay in the game longer than other people, you're going to get to where you want to go.
So kind of go through a process working with a client. How long, how much time do you spend with them? How often and for how long?
Yes. So I work with people who are excited to be in a coaching process, who really want to create change in their lives. And it starts with the first 6 months. We create an agreement of 6 months of coaching. And then most of my clients, I would say 85% of my clients, I've worked with for years, 1 to 3 years, because the work continues and there's so much transformation that it just feels good. And, you can't change some of these habits that we've had, some of these patterns of behavior that we act out every day in a matter of months. Sometimes it takes longer. And so once the transformation starts happening, I just end up working with people for a long time and it's so fun. It's all about looking at what is happening in your life currently. You can look at patterns that have happened in the past. You can look at behaviors that are persistent. We identify blind spots. That first piece is always awareness. The second piece is to take ownership of those things. And then we upgrade habits and systems. And that's when things can, my coaching clients can start to amplify their impact and spread it out into the world.
Does the exercise and nutrition component, like, is that usually the first thing that you guys work on besides the assessing?
The energy piece is always part of the initial assessment because if somebody tells me I have 5 out of 10 energy, I know right away that they aren't going to have the bandwidth to go where they want to go. People have big dreams, they have big goals. That's why they come to a coach. They want to bring this stuff to life. If you have big goals, you have to have big energy. And we can't be operating at medium bandwidth if we want to bring big stuff to life. So it's a part of the audit that we do in the beginning that we look at very closely. And if people aren't on board with that, we say, okay, well, maybe this isn't the right fit for you. We have
Right.
to address the energy.
Definitely. Tell me a success story that you're most proud of.
There's Here's the thing. When you are a coach, you can talk all about the 81% in business growth that a client had, or the founder of a $25 million company who had a successful exit. But honestly, the biggest wins are when somebody remembers I am not my negative stories. I am not my inner critic voices. I am actually a powerful, creative, whole, resilient person. And when you see that moment in their eyes where they remember that, that's the biggest win ever. I mean, it is so gratifying to see that in people.
I love that. In what space are most of your clients? Are they in the tech world or?
Many of my clients are entrepreneurs and founders, and they're in all different industries: real estate, education, health, many in tech. It's really about the type of person, and the type of person who comes to coaching, who I love to coach, are people who are not necessarily looking for somebody to motivate them. They're self-motivated. It's that they want to sharpen themselves. They want
Mhm.
precision. They want to
Fine tune?
optimize. Yes, they want to get to that next level. And I love working with those types of clients because those are the people who have tremendous impact in the world.
That's amazing. So we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay, okay.
Are you a morning routine or night owl?
I am a night owl, but my wife is a morning person. And so I've had to shift, and it's actually made me much more efficient. So I thank her for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Coffee or green juice?
Coffee.
Ah, leadership book everyone should read.
It's not necessarily a leadership book, but everybody should read it. It's The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It changes the
Interesting.
way that we think and the way that we problem solve and the way that we speak to ourselves. And I think that's just a huge leg up.
Do you find men or women more able to receive this, or how do I want to say this? Do you find that you most of your clients are men or women who are the more open to doing these new levels? Or is it
Actually, it's not really a male or female thing. I tend to
mhm,
work with a lot of men. I think because I can be very direct with men,
mhm,
but there are so many women that I get to work with who are very open to this type of challenging and feedback and calling out the blind spots. It just depends on whether or not somebody is open to a process of growth. That's really what
right,
it comes down to.
right. What do you find that is the hardest thing for people to make change in their life? Is it the nutrition? Is it the resting? Or is there one thing that they all kind of have in common?
Okay, well, it used to be that people really struggled with habits around food and
Hmm.
sleep. People are
Hmm.
very ingrained in their habits around sleep, but there's a new one that
Oh,
is becoming so rampant for people, and it's the phones. It is screens, it is getting lost in Reddit or social media or
hmm.
doom scrolling on the news, and it's really a time suck for people. It also dramatically affects their mental health. And so that's actually become a huge thing that we talk about in sessions with clients.
So interesting. One habit that changed your life.
Meditation.
Nice. Do you do that morning and night?
I do it morning.
Okay. A mindset shift that every entrepreneur should make.
Progress is better than perfection. Action beats anxiety.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Where's your happy place?
The ocean.
Is there any particular ocean,
Oh, well,
particular beach,
we all
or
want to be on a warm beach, don't we?
all of us?
I love being near a sea. The sea is so beautiful. So whether it's the Mediterranean Sea or the Caribbean Sea, it's just there's no better place.
I totally agree. What do you do when your day isn't flowing?
Meditate. Slowing down and getting my brain right helps me be so much more efficient. And you can't help but have days where you're overwhelmed with the amount of tasks that you might have. So meditation and going for a walk. Those are the two things that ground me every time.
I know it's remarkable that you can just like step outside of your office, go get some fresh air, some sun. Everything is
So
better.
good.
And to your point about sleep, I always find that if I'm overly tired, everything is worse. Everything
Christina,
just,
you nailed it. You just nailed it. When we are tired, our saboteur voices, our inner critics get so loud. And
right?
like you said, everything is worse.
Right. If you're tired, you're hungry, you're dehydrated, you haven't exercised, things that you're not
Yes,
grateful for, everything is magnified a billion times and it's
absolutely.
so much, you know?
That
So that's
is,
what
I
I
wish every
usually do.
person could understand that like you do.
Yeah. I really realized like when I'm feeling that, like I just I'm super positive typically, but when I start feeling negative or down on myself, I'm like, okay, are you hungry? Are you tired? Do you need to work out? Like what?
Really good.
Because I also think it's important to learn to self-soothe and check yourself. Because
Yes.
once you kind of do that, you're like, oh, okay, I do need to go do a harder workout. I need to eat. I need to just take a break. And when you
Yes.
learn that, everything is easy. It's softer, which I think is helpful.
Yeah, we certainly can't believe everything we think, especially everything we
No, we're
think,
liars up there,
especially
thinking
when we're
of so much
tired.
craziness. What would people be surprised to know about you?
Oh man. Well, I think most people are very surprised to learn that I was in a sorority when I was in college. And I think it's because I'm very athletic. I have more of like a masculine energy to me, and I have to say, being in community with all those women during my sorority days was one of the most positive, fun, joyful experiences I ever had.
I love
I
that.
love people, so it was a gift.
What sorority were you in?
Kappa Kappa Gamma.
Oh, nice. What are some of your favorite self care and diet tips?
In terms of diet, I would say my favorite tips are lead with protein because you will be more full, your blood sugar will be more stable, and you are less likely to spin out on snacking on things that maybe aren't the best for you. So that's one of my top tips. Whole foods, cutting out as many chemicals as you can. It sounds really obvious, but we don't really pay attention to how many foods come out of a bag or a box. And there's just additives in that. So I would say that's my tips for nutrition. For self-care, never underestimate the power of intentional alone time and stillness. We are so bombarded with information every single day, millions of pieces of information coming at us. We need time to be able to listen to the inner voice and cultivate our sense of self. So that's one. And this might sound like the antithesis of this, but it's not. It's yes, and be in community with people who lift you up. Nobody gets to places on their own, everybody gets support. Embrace that support and surround yourself with people who are cheering you on and loving to see you win, and be one of those people for your community, because giving energy to other people, it's not draining. It is absolutely so life-giving. It's so energy
I
giving.
I completely agree. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yes.
Confidence or discipline, which matters more?
Ooh, that's a really tough question for me. My intuitive hit is that discipline builds confidence. But I think you cannot discount the way somebody holds themselves when they walk into a room. And there is an aura about people, and that confidence just it ex, it exudes out of people. So I would really say that that's a really tough question for me,
It is
Christina.
because one, I liked your answer because it was like, oh, this one leads to this one, which
Yes.
leads to the
Yes.
outcome. So that's a perfect answer. What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Somebody said to me once, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh. They said, nobody's coming to save you. You have the ability to build the life you want. And I thought to myself, nobody's coming to save me. That's so isolating. That's so, lonely, and it feels dire. But once I started digging into that a little bit more, I was like, man, the only person that's in my way is me. And
So
if I
true.
can take ownership of my life and my circumstances, whether they're my fault or not, they're here. So they're my responsibility. As soon as I started to adopt that mindset shift, things really changed in my life.
What did you think you were going to do when you started college? Like, what was your idea of
My
your career?
goal,
Mhm.
my goal was to be a pediatrician. I wanted to be in Western medicine. I wanted to work with kids, and I ended up going into the world of Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, and acupuncture and Chinese herbs, which was also an amazing gift in my life. So here I am now, just having stepped away from my clinical practice. I guess the lesson is you can plan, but your life will always take you on paths you didn't anticipate.
That is fascinating. Do you miss that?
Do I miss acupuncture?
Hmm.
I do. I miss my patient interactions. I worked in a clinical setting for 15 years. I saw 80 patients a week for many of those years. So I miss the medicine. I miss the patient interactions. But I'm also so passionate about coaching and helping people in this capacity. So it's absolutely the right thing for my life.
I love that. If you could give every leader listening today one message about impact, what would it be?
I would say you are having an impact all of the time, whether you want to or not. And if you can learn to harness that impact and make it powerful, you will be an unstoppable person, not only in your business, but in your family, in your community. You will change so many lives and you will change your own life.
What have I not asked you that you'd like to share?
Oh, I think the thing that I love speaking about is this idea of impact. And I would just encourage people to think about the fact that they're always broadcasting a message into the world with their energy and their mood and their behaviors and their communication. And that message that they're sending out into the world is being mirrored back to them.
Mm,
And so if you're not happy with where you are in your life, if you are in struggle, if you are in chaos, if you're in despair, look to yourself and see what message, what energy you might be putting out, because there is ultimately some way that you have control. And to be able to change that, it will change what the world mirrors back to you.
that's beautiful. I really like that. Steph, this has been such an inspiring conversation. Your work reminds us that leadership isn't just about success, it's about how we show up, how we influence others, and the impact that we create every day. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for everyone watching and listening to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flack. I'm Too Busy, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you.